All right, y'all. So this is session 4, and we have been talking about how to become a full-time creative. And so we have dived in on some very, very important topics. So if you have not been following along, you got to go back to those other sessions. So session 1 was understanding what your creative path is. Session 2 was building your brand and your network. Session 3, the reality of going full time. And now we're going to step into how to scale your creative career. Now, this is where the money resides. So, how can you begin to scale your career? So, elevating and expanding your vision as a creative it can be super fun, but this is literally after you have mastered being a creative, right? After you have mastered your day-to-day, your schedule, how to create boundaries, how to network, how to not get burned out, and really how to stay consistent. And I say this because you cannot or you should not begin to add on a lot of different projects to launch and to do and to maintain until you have mastered the first one. You don't want to get burned out too much, and also you don't want your hands to be in so many different pots, and then those things are not getting its due diligence, or it's attention so that they can grow. So let's dive into y'all. Let's dive into it. If you are here for session 4, that means like you really, really serious about this. Like you really passionate. And I'm rooting for you. And I appreciate that for you to be here all the way to session 4. So let's talk about transforming your craft into a business that is scalable. So if you have been grinding away on your creative work, whether it's writing, filmmaking, art, anything like that, the next step is to turn your craft into a business, as we discussed in the previous sessions. And so the goal is not just to create, it really is to build. So how can you figure out how to scale your career? Think about your skills. What do you know how to do? Are you a great speaker? Do you have other knowledge in motherhood and how to balance it all? Do you have knowledge in starting a publishing company? How to go out on a book tour? How to conduct a media interview? How to do makeup? Like, what is it that you know how to do? You can now begin to say, well, how can I put that out there? How can I create a service of that? And so monetizing your skills is like almost like diversifying a portfolio. And I know we watch movies and films and stuff all the time, and people always have this financial portfolio because they have stocks and bonds and real estates and businesses and trusts, right? So you have to think about all of your skill sets as a portfolio and how are you actually monetizing off of those skill sets. And it could be anything, y'all. You could probably be very good at do-it-yourself type of building your furniture or painting your walls or refurbishing a room. Or you may be a great runner and you may have some skill sets on how you can run and maintain a good, healthy running career. What is it that you like to do? And figure out how to monetize off of that. That's the first thing. Now, growing beyond yourself is the next thing because you can't do it all. So now it's time to get help and outsource and build a team. Now, when you first are starting out and you're doing everything yourself, which I highly encourage because you need to understand all the moving parts in your business and you need to understand what makes your business go so that when you're bringing people in, you know how to explain to them what it is that you need and you'll know if they're doing a good job or not. So creating the work and handling the marketing, managing the finances, responding to emails, like that is a grind and it can start to feel overwhelming. But if you're serious about taking your business to the next level, at some point you're going to have to start scaling up and then getting that help and knowing how to delegate that help. So this is where you have to start thinking like a leader. You can't do it all alone. So hiring help and outsourcing is like a very crucial step in growth. I remember the first time that I began to work with my former business partner that really kind of helped me break down my business. Like I had to break down the steps of everything that I was doing. Like if I wanted to pitch myself for a book signing, what were the steps for that? How did I find the bookstores or the event spaces to reach out to? And I really had to process everything in my head and make it actual tangible steps. And then I had to create a system for those steps. And system is key. System is almost like organization. To be honest, it is organization. So you have to create a system. You want to get organized. That way you can focus on your craft. Once you have a system, you can train people in that system and then kind of rinse and repeat. Now, when you're building a team, you got to think about the type of people that you want around you. They need to understand the overall goal. They also need to understand who you are. And ultimately, you can begin to start scaling your business once you have that proper help. You also want to leverage your platform for exposure. So leveraging your platforms like Amazon, YouTube, Patreon, Substack, Kits. These platforms will help you grow and build your brand. So let's talk about exposure. Now, you can create amazing work all day long, but if you're not putting it in front of the right audience, you won't get the recognition that you deserve. That's where platforms come into play. The beauty of today's world is that we don't really have to always step outside to connect with people. It's right here at our fingertips. So understand how to utilize these tools, really study it and master it and be consistent at it. I'll say, for an example, Amazon is a game changer, like for artists and creators. Like when I started publishing my books, I knew that getting on Amazon would give me access to a huge audience because that's where the people are at. That's the same thing with YouTube. As a filmmaker or content creator, you know that YouTube is one of the best platforms to be on to showcase your work and connect with fans. But how do you do that? You begin to really start strategizing how to do that and then consistently post content. Like start creating and post about your expertise, post about your stories, post like I am. Then there's Patreon, like my very own Patreon, which is Tamika. I put out tools and tips all the time on my Patreon. And you can begin to kind of start creating exclusive content on this Patreon for people to go and seek out that information from you. And then last but not least, of course, social media, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, they're all really essential. This is where you can show up every day and interact with your audience, building relationships and letting people into your journey. Don't sleep on these platforms, y'all. They really, really work. Like, again, I used to go viral a lot on the Shade Room. You know, social media is super crowded now, but even now when I hop in the comment section, like I'm creating some type of buzz. Like sometimes I'm getting under people's skin. Sometimes people are agreeing with me. But engaging, like it really will help you expand your reach, and it helps align with the things that you're wanting to scale. Like you want people to know who you are so that they can invest in what you're doing. Y'all, at the end of the day, to elevate your vision is very crucial to turn your craft into a business. It's very crucial to then build a team and to leverage platforms. These steps are all about creating sustainability, growing your brand, and building something that lasts. It's not going to happen overnight, but if you stay consistent and take these actions, you'll start seeing the results of your hard work. Now, remember, you're not just a creator, you are a business. Remember, you're not just a creator, you are a business. So it's time to start thinking bigger and acting like the leader that you are meant to be. All right, y'all. Thank y'all so very much for watching. I want to leave y'all with this last tip. I want you to work on a growth map. Which basically is outline a 6-month plan to grow your brand. And I want you to think about all the elements. Your skill set, building a team, networking, how to be really disciplined with your schedule so that you don't get burned out and so that you can dedicate enough time for your business. I want you to map out a growth map. And I actually have a template for a growth map in my Patreon and also in my kit. If you subscribe to my newsletter, these are all digital downloads that is there for you in my Patreon. So you can go in there and download them and we can connect. I thank y'all all so very much. I'm rooting for y'all. And we started this session off with manifestation. So now I want you to now also go into these comments right now, and I want you to manifest not only what type of creator you will be, but you will scale your business and what that will be. I want you to talk to me. Put those words out there into the atmosphere. And then join me back here on YouTube. I'm always dropping something for y'all. I'm rooting for y'all. I'll see y'all later.